Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time. And subscribe if you are new. Chelsea taking on Everton in this preview at Goodison Park against a team that really, the facts of the matter are, if they had not been deducted their 10 points, they would be above us in the table. Absolutely insane, but that's the facts. This Everton team, before the points deduction, were a good team, much better than I expected them to be. They had a plan, they put it out there, they got their results. And after the deduction, they are starting to get their results. Even against Manchester United, who we just got absolutely pummeled by, they actually played a lot better than us when they come up against them the weekend before. They lost that game. The scoreline doesn't tell the story. Our scoreline against Man United didn't tell the story. We should have got slapped, clapped. So when it comes down to their last fixture beating Newcastle, who, yes, are probably leggy and have acclimatized, not acclimatized, they've taken on a lot of, fixtures in a short space of time with only 11 players, and it's probably caught up to them. They still got the job done, and they applied themselves correctly. So this is a massive game. This is a very difficult game, going to a stadium that really, we do struggle at anyway, regardless of where we are at. This is always a difficult game. In a cup, in a league game, we've always had little moments against Everton, whether it's Richarlison getting a goal, etc. So this is a difficult game. No mistake about it. But we have to win. And I don't really feel like I need to say that anymore, because it's become a game-to-game basis, and we know that we're in the thick of it. It's squeaky bum time. I know they're putting out the briefings. They're linking us to another 16-year-old Brazilian. They're saying that Pochettino is not under pressure. But the fact that they're having to put these briefings out tells me that we're in a tough situation. Tells me that we are treading on thin ice right now. We need to win games. It's not negotiable. It's not, but we got a 20-minute spell. We played well, but no, there's no buts. There's no buts, brother. It's time to execute. It's time to execute in terms of football and in terms of winning matches. Back to front, we need to look 10 times better than we did against Manchester United. From a coaching standpoint, I had probably more criticism in that game than I've ever had for Poch, because we just didn't look good in any phase. We didn't look good at all. Every single player looked poor. And when that happens, the manager has to take some responsibility. From build-up aspect to in this game, I need to see so much better. I need to see options for our players when they receive the ball under the press. I need to see players playing in positions that make sense to them. I don't want to see a centre-back playing left-back anymore when we have two left-backs in the squad. I don't want to see Palmer deeper than Enzo in possession, trying to come into the midfield and pick up the ball in the first phase. I don't want to see these things. I really don't. So we've got the players to perform much better than we are. But like I said, on All You Can Eat Chelsea, and I will continue to say this season, if we continue to fall and continue to not get ourselves together, the board will take a lot of responsibility, and so will the recruitment team. And this constant excessive links to 16-year-olds from Brazil, I'm not doubting the talent on this Willian kid at right wing, but it's another right winger to add to Madueke, to add to Angelo, to add to Hutchinson, to add to Palace, to add to Palmer. So many. How many right wingers do we have? It's an obsession. It's I've heard the argument, but he's too good to miss out on. Do you think you're not going to say that next summer and the summer after? I can guarantee you there will always be a winger in the world in that age group every single summer that you're going to be like, we can't afford to miss out. Because at that age, there's always somebody very special, because there's always somebody ripping up that age group and dragging all of their peers across the floor. Whether they make it to the top level, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But there will always be 16 and 17-year-olds that you will say that we cannot miss out on. But that doesn't mean we should sign every single 16 and 17-year-old. That doesn't mean we should stockpile 10 players in one position. At some point, enough is enough. It's like an addict. I didn't say that the alcohol didn't taste nice, but it doesn't mean you must drink it every day, brother. At some point, you have to actually bank on what you've purchased and protect it, because stockpiling them when you don't have the multi-club model fully fleshed out is only going to go one way. Now, this guy that we're potentially looking at for 40 million euros or whatever it is not going to join until 2025. In 2025, where will we be? We don't know. We don't know. You have to make sure that what we're doing right now means that the future will be the circumstance that you can actually bring a kid like that into. Because when they sign and when they arrive, You can't put them into a toxic atmosphere. You can't put them into a team that are devoid of confidence, that are sitting in this position in the league. So you've got to look at now so you can have a future. Football changes constantly. I like all the players that we've brought in. So I like the players that we've brought in terms of the Andre Santos and the Angelos. But like I said, at some point enough has to be enough. And you have to actually bring in these players at the same speed that you're doing the development process, because there's no point having the talent and not having the next phase, which is the development and the plan, which is what we've lacked even under the Roman days, not having the plan always for the player, the wrong loan, not enough space to actually give minutes. So listen, for me at this point, I'm only interested in first team matters. I'm only interested in what's happening on that football pitch with those players that are currently playing for us today, not in 2025, today, because today we are fucked. Today we are in serious trouble. Today we need results. Now, Everton, like I said, coming into this game in a good mood, right? We know that they are going to be physically imposing. We know that they've got a game plan. We know that they can mix things up. We know that we've struggled against physical opposition. We've struggled against all types of opposition, but we've definitely struggled against physical opposition. Now, for me, I've got to see us have a blend between pressing and being aggressive, which is what we know Pochettino wants to do. And sometimes we need to be able to control a football match and to take the sting out of the game. Because something about controlling games, which we have the players to do, when you've got someone as good on the ball as Colwell, Badiashile, Silva, Caicedo, Enzo, when you have players like Reece James, who is now going to be back in this team, I assume from the start, when you have players that are good on the ball, you should be able to go through periods in matches and control 10, 15, 20-minute spells. Controlling football matches helps you defend. If you have the ball, you cannot concede. We need to learn that. It's not every day head loss. It's not every day back and forth. It's not every day punch for punch. I get it helps us to do that, to score, because we know that when we go up against low blocks, we struggle. So if we attack with a speed and with an aggression and with an intensity, we can get to the other side of the pitch quicker and score goals or create bigger, more clearer chances. And we've done that. We've scored more goals in recent times than we did earlier on in the season. We've been getting our fours and our threes and whatever against Brighton and Man City. So I don't say ditch the aggressiveness, ditch the press, which has been lacking, to be honest, recently, or ditch the directness. But it's not every moment of the game. If you are under the cosh, if you are tired, because we're talking about tiredness, right? Keeping the ball helps with your fatigue. You're not running around so much. You're not moving about so much. Everybody's set. So we need to be able to do both. It's not just one or the other. We haven't got these lungs that Liverpool players have across the board. We don't. We're seeing tired legs in Enzo. We're seeing tired legs in our wingers, clearly, because they're not tracking back. So there needs to be a variety to this. There can't just be one way or no way. So for me, I need to see that in this game, because we are a better team technically, I assume, than Everton. So we should be able to assert that and show that. My team is probably pretty predictable. Well, maybe it's not actually. It's actually not. For me personally, I feel like Silva needs to be given a rest. I feel like he needs to be given a break. So I've taken Silva out of the team. This is my team on screen. All right. Sanchez in goal. James comes back in from the start. I know there's rumours about Gusto being, fairly available now, but Reece James, you're captain. You must rise. I've said it already. Like, you lead this team, bro. Literally. Disasi at centre-back with Badiashile joining him. The reason why I've gone with those two is because they both know each other from Monaco days. We've heard about reports and about their chemistry and their understanding and the balance that they could potentially bring together. So I want to see it. I don't think Levi Colwell's been defending brilliantly recently, even though he has been out of position. But I think from a physical standpoint as well, he's at sometimes been a bit weak and he's been kind of brushed off. And I think Silva, like I said, has played enough games now in a row. It's time to actually give him a rest, because we have to. He's played every single game, I think every single minute this season in the Premier League. So it's enough. There's height in that combination defensively, and there's good ball-playing centre-backs in there where they can pass, right? Badiashile better than Disasi. But that against a physically imposing Everton team on set pieces, those two are mammoths. They're giants. They should be able to handle that airily. Left back, Cucurella. I wanted to look at Maatsen. I think Maatsen needs to be given an opportunity at left back, especially if we're going to, at some point, I would like to see the same build-up play that we did in pre-season, which was a 3-2, where we had three defenders, one fullback would go forward, and we would build in a 3-2. Very safe, very secure. Keep the angles tight. We're not ready for a potential two centre-back, two midfielder in and push the fullbacks out because we're giving the ball away. We're not getting enough options. Build in a 5. Build in a 5. Tuck in a fullback and let a fullback go forward. Maatsen would be that fullback to push up and to stretch and to give us some sort of attacking combination play with that left winger in Sterling or Mudryk. However, he hasn't played enough minutes to maybe throw him in a deep end at Everton, where it's going to be a pretty hostile physical game as well. So I'm going to go Cucurella because, again, the back line is getting so many changes. There's got to be some continuity in there. In midfield, it's Enzo and Caicedo. I'd love to be able to give one of them a rest maybe or rotate it because they were absolutely awful against United, the pair of them, but we don't actually have any other options. That's the one thing I'll sympathise with Pochettino. There is no other midfield to pick. Lavia's not ready. Leslie Okachukwu's not here. Andre Santos is chilling on Nottingham Forest reserves. There is no option, right? In the 10, Gallagher comes back in to balance out the midfield off the ball, give it a little legs, give it a bit of energy, because I do think this could be a back and forth game. Even though I am asking for some control, Everton will have moments where they do potentially transition on us, and we're gonna need some bite back in midfield. Please, brother, fix your tackling, okay? You and Caicedo, but you in particular because you lead the Premier League in fouls. Gallagher, fix your tackling technique, bro. Please, we need to see some sort of technique on the tackle. Can't just be willy-nilly reckless, okay? And then on the right wing, Palmer goes back out there because he didn't look great in the 10 at all against Manchester United. He's given the ball away a lot. Left wing goes Sterling. He's basically got to start every game right now, regardless of if he's played poorly against United, which he did. I didn't like his dive, which he could have got an extra yellow card, and he's one yellow card from suspension. So is Enzo Fernandez. So we need to be very careful. But he's the only attacker right now that can give us some sort of output, and he has been involved in most of our attacking actions this season. Mudryk was not good against United either. Up front, I'm going with Broja. I want to change up front. Jackson comes out. Okay, it's about time that Broja gets his opportunity. Jackson missed a couple of chances, some big chances, the header, the shot. Listen, it's time for Broja to get his opportunity. I want to see something fresh, something different. He's come back from the injury now. He's had a couple of games off the bench. I feel like he's ready to start. Let's give him an opportunity, see what he can do. Put Jackson on the bench and make him understand that, listen, brother, you got things to work on. Get to work with that finishing. That's the team. That's my team. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like I said, this is a very important game. Goes without saying. And it's board, manager, players. And the reason why it's board, manager, players, for me personally in terms of responsibility, is because the players didn't sign themselves. That's the board's decision, right? What level are a lot of those players? I think some of those players are too good to be in this current predicament in the Premier League. I'm looking at the Caicedos. I'm looking at the Enzos. I think Badiashiel's been a really shrewd signing. He looks really good. We've got other players that we look at and we think, yeah, Sterling, James, you lot should be able to really perform to a world-class level. But when it comes to a lot of these guys, we're not sure, right? Mudryk, I'm not particularly impressed now. You're starting to get quite a lot of games, but your footballing IQ is not looking great. You're not doing the things that you need to do at your age. He does play like a teenager. He does play like a kid. There's raw attributes there, but they're very raw. And it's about time that those raw abilities, we need to start seeing them at least inconsistently. I need to start seeing that shot in training. Because when you're getting those shots on the pitch, you're not hitting them with any power and conviction. Madueke, we've not seen him much. But again, raw talent. Jackson, raw talent. There's so many raw talents. So the board have to take responsibility for that. They're the ones that decided to go down this route. It's sink or swim. You can't turn back now. You can't flip the squad again. You just flipped it. So now it's time to really potentially look at fine-tuning it. But I'm embarrassed to say so because, like I said, I don't get any pleasure out of saying that we actually still need to look into the market. I don't like saying that at all because it's frankly quite embarrassing, but that's the reality. So the board take top responsibility for 2 mediocre seasons currently on their books. You've got to in-house reflect on that and rectify it. And you've got to walk away temporarily, at least, from this under 18s or under 21s or under 25s model, and start looking at not the age in particular, but the experience and the CV and what have they done in this league, which is what Pochettino wanted in the summer, and at the highest level in general. If you were signing in Mbappe at Monaco, 18 years old, I'd say cool, can't miss that talent. But 16 GCSE student who's just doing their maths, trying to get A level, trying to get into college, it's a bit early to be saying you can't miss out. There are some exceptions, but brother, I think you've already invested in enough, yeah? And then the manager, of course, because like I said, we are getting worse. We need to improve. I need to see more from Pochettino. I need to see more in-game management, better substitutions, even though I will sympathise that the last bench was basically derelict. There was nothing there. So we need to get players back for him to be able to impose himself in terms of in-game management. I'm not going to harshly get onto your case too much there because there's not many options on the bench. But in terms of how we play right now, we're not getting the best out of certain players. And like I said, you might have that whole pressing aggressiveness, Gallagher kind of game to you that you want to impose. But if you're complaining about fitness levels and you're complaining about fatigue, then you've also got to be able to control games. And you've got Enzo, you've got Caicedo, you've got players that can control. So use them too, not just one way. And obviously the players need to take their finger out their arse. It's time for a performance. Serious now. It's time for a performance because you guys are better than this. I'm not saying that you're even top 5 talent now. I'm not even going to say you're Champions League worthy because a lot of you maybe aren't at this current moment, but you're not 10th. With one game a week, you cannot be 10th. You must, or 11th, or wherever we are. You must secure European football next season. The fact that I'm negotiating what type of European football that is makes me sick to my stomach, but you must get European football. You must be at least in the mix of Brighton, West Ham and Newcastle, who are plagued with injuries. If you can't even mix it with those teams, then Lord, we're in some serious problems. So that's the preview. The score prediction is 1-1 because a lot of you are saying I'm predicting wins. I did predict a win on the Big Six. I don't know why. Again, I'm just praying. I'm just hoping. I'm not expecting. I'm not saying we're gonna win. But on here, I will predict a draw because maybe I'll do reverse psychology. Maybe if I predict a draw, they'll win. Who knows? I'm hoping. But that's where I'm going. But I'm flirting between 1-1 and a 2-1 win. We could lose. I'm going to say it now. We could easily lose. I'm not confident. I say that. I'm not confident. I'm more than humbled. More than humbled. Who to watch out from Everton? Everyone. That's your Everton analysis. Watch out for everyone. Because right now, anyone and everyone could wrap us. Anyone and everyone could thrash us. So there's no need to worry about individuals. Worry about the team because it is a team. They play like a team. They're collective. And they come with a plan. Sean Dyche is doing his thing again. Track record is mad. So that's the end of the show. That's the end of the preview. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about the lineup, about everything that I've said in this video. And on that bench, Maatsen will be there. In particular, him. If we need a goal, if we can keep things compact, if it is a little scrappy, shithousery 1-0 win that we need to go for, then let's see him come on at left back. And let's give ourselves an opportunity to potentially add another person to that attack and go to a 3 and go to that 3-2 build up. I know people are traumatized by the back 3, but it was a hell of a lot less open than what we're doing right now. Right now it's open sesame. There's too much going in. So we need to tighten up because this defense is getting a bit ridiculous now. That's enough. So yeah, until next time, make sure you smash up the likes. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, like I said already. Nearly at 70k. We're at 69k, so that number's a bit mad. So let's come off that now. In a bit, people. Peace.